School has started, and so do we. We're done with summer break. Hello, and welcome to Irreverent. I'm your host, Levi, and this is the podcast that takes unscheduled breaks, and we're not going to let our listeners know. You guys don't deserve to know that kind of insider knowledge. So, yeah, there you go. I'm your host, Levi, accompanied by my co host, Eli. Say hi, Eli.
This week he gets to be the crazy person talking to himself for 2 hours.
Madman talks to himself about MotoGP for 30 seconds because that's all I gotta say. Yes. So all the that time ago, I honestly forget when the last time we recorded was. It was probably in July. We hyped up. We were gonna do something different, and the only thing that was a definite was that I was gonna do MotoGP. Actually, no, that's a lie. I think Eli said something about doing WRC, but spoilers: MotoGP, WRC this week. Unfortunately, we don't have too much to say about either. Just preparing you guys, which is kind of it's also a blessing we didn't record last week because it would have just been a 30-minute episode of me and Eli looking at each other, being like, "Yep, sure was a good, not even a good race. It was very nice to just have TV to watch it." So we get to add on this past week's NASCAR race to this week's schedule. Nothing else because F1's still on break. IndyCar still refuses to race as long as the Olympics are on. So yeah, we got 3 series to look forward to. We have some more roasting of Checo Perez to do, and Eli will cover that. And lots of news, which will also be covered by Eli's lips. So I
Oh, it's
normally would turn
lots of
this over
news.
to yeah,
It's
lots
just
and lots of news.
a few things with some rants.
A lot happens when you don't exist for 2 weeks. We were kind of in like this podcast coma for 2 weeks, and then we woke up and with all this news. Um, so yeah, I'll turn it over to myself, right? I'll turn it over to myself, and I'll just flap about MotoGP, and Eli will give opinions as directed.
Here's the thing. This is the one race that I somewhat got into. The problem is I don't know anybody well enough that I could actually cover it and have it make any sort of coherent sense.
So it's kind of, I think this will be a really good combination because I didn't watch this race. I just looked at the results, standings, and you actually watched the race. So I am going to give the definite standings and stats after the race and my opinion on the winner and Ducati. And you can just tell them what happened during the race. So guys, don't worry, you're going to get the most quality coverage of this race. It's just Eli is going to be the brain to my skull.
I'm just gonna be completely lost and be like, guy in the purple bike. He did something stupid.
Guy on purple bike. British. What? Hold up. Wait. What? Oh, spring. Okay, I was on the MotoGP website looking for like last week's thing, and I totally forgot they're racing again this week. So I just saw like the Motorrad Grand Prix von Oostenrijk, and then I'm like, wait, another race happened. No spoilers. We'll cover that in news next week. Instead, we'll go to let me get to Britain. We're going to Britain. We're going to Silverstone, where a race happened, so we get to look at the standings. So this was the 2nd to 4th of August. Guys, we're recording on the 17th, and we're just now getting to a race that happened almost 2 weeks ago.
In our defense, most series are on break, so it's not like there was much to cover.
I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to say if you don't like that, then you don't listen to Irreverent because we're lazy and we like it. Honestly, we'll give opinions about any race, anytime, anywhere. I don't care if it happened, 5 years ago. We'll cover it like it just happened today.
I mean, hey, in the off season, I'm gonna have you watch some classic rallies, and we're gonna cover that. So
No, it's going to be a battle of attrition to whoever can refrain from murdering the other co-host.
I have practiced at that.
We know. Guys, do you know Eli has a knife collection? He has to test this. He has to test the sharpness on something. Anyway,
After a while, shaving your
so
arms with them gets boring.
yeah, guys, this has now become a mental health podcast. Eli, when did you first start cutting?
Hey, I don't have any. Okay, that was almost a lie. But
Was
the scars
was
are
it
on my
the
fingers and they're from accidents.
was it when Mercedes began dominating F1 when you were like 14? Is that when the cutting started?
You joke, but people were actually getting concerned because I used to hate wearing short sleeves, and it's like, no, I'm not hiding scars. Don't worry about that.
They're like, dang, like you haven't come out of the basement since Lewis Hamilton won 2020.
It's like, look, the black jacket that I wear all the time is a fashion choice. It's not hiding anything.
It's not hiding anything, and it's also not like confirmation that black is the only color, like soul. We should probably
Well,
talk.
that one would
Should
be
probably,
true.
so after we cover MotoGP, WRC, and NASCAR, we'll also talk about Eli's knife collection after news. Um. Anyway, back to the MotoGP. Enea Bastianini won. Let me get this right. His first race of the year. I want to say, yeah, it was his first race of the year, guys, and I like that. I like it. I wish I could tell you more. I wish I knew if Enea Bastianini had won Silverstone before. I don't. Eli, doesn't it seem that red-colored Italian-based factory teams, their second driver usually wins at Silverstone?
I mean, I don't. I've not paid attention to it for more than a couple of years, but at least in recent history, yeah, you're not wrong.
About to say, Enea Bastianini pulled the biggest Carlos Sainz move of his career. Like
He
Enea Bastianini
dominated the weekend
he might as well just be Carlos Sainz.
because he took the
Uh,
sprint win too, didn't he?
I can give you that right now. Sprint. Yep, he won that too. Um, so yeah, congratulations.
He, I, unless he has been racing in the series for more than 10 years.
Oh no, he was in Moto when so guys, I played MotoGP 18 and Enea Bastianini was in Moto 3. I think he's only been here since 2020, 21, something like that.
Well, he is the 10th different winner in the last 10 British GPs.
All right, well, he had Statman Eli saved me from looking like an idiot. So no, I can confirmly say Bastianini has never won Silverstone before.
At least not in
Jorge,
MotoGP.
that's right, that's right. Jorge Martin in second, Francesco Banaya in third, Mark Marquez in fourth, and rounding out the top five is, if I want to say, it's Fabio Di Giantonio. Very sorry if I botchered that up. Um, well, I when I was thinking about what to say about this race, I I found myself at a lack of words again because I didn't watch this race. I only actually saw the standings. I didn't even watch highlights. I'm admitting it. I'm making a confession in front of everybody. I have watched zero of this race. I've only seen the standings. Eli, before I start, it's maybe a rant, maybe a small rant, maybe not even a rant. Maybe it's just an opinion. Do you have anything good to say about the race overall, like the weekend? How was the racing?
It was better than Assen. The sprint
Wider
race
track.
was, yeah, wider track, more sweeping corners. The sprint race was pretty decent. Um, but the main event, it's the longest circuit they race on. They actually had to worry about tire wear. So they were holding back somewhat.
Oh man. I'm going to quickly interject and say I actually watched the full race of Qatar from earlier this year, and they did the same thing. It was a very boring race because everyone was holding back.
Yeah. Like,
So
tire wear races always have that problem where either everybody holds back from the beginning or they go all out at the beginning and then they have to hold back at the end even more. It just, especially in a series where you can't change the tires, yeah, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah. You know what? I have an idea. Now, unfortunately, motorcycle news, guys, quick news segment. Ducati, of course, released their new 2025 Panigale V4. Different bodywork, more, features. Of course, it's a new bike. The biggest difference this year, Eli, get this. You might need to sit down. No more single-sided swing arm. It's a double-sided swing arm now in the back.
Hmm.
I think they should bring single-side swing arms back. You know why?
You could do
Because
quick change tires.
100%, it's an exposed wheel hub. They could totally find a way to change tires with like single-sided rear, and is also nice because the rear tire is what goes out first.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it's actually a rule of thumb in motorcycling from road-going motorcyclists like myself, but I'm not experienced. That you for every you know when to change the rear tire for every I'm sorry, change the front tire once for every 2 rear tires. That's the rule. So yeah, if every manufacturer ran single swided swing arms, then everyone could change the rear tire and people could be a little more aggressive. Boom! I fixed it, MotoGP. We fixed it. Sorry, communism. Um, so basically, your synopsis of the weekend was good until the race.
Yeah. It's kind of like F1 at Brazil last year.
Ooh. Did the trying to think what the equivalent of Hamilton Verstappen is like? Did Mark Marquez and Francesco Bagnaia get really mad at each other?
Um, they probably didn't. I was trying to find who these were. Miguel Oliveira and Raul Fernandez. They weren't happy with each other. They
Did you
crashed
know?
out turn one.
Fun, useless fact. Do you know Miguel Oliveira married sister?
Hmm. Interesting.
They'll make beautiful babies with one eye.
But anyway, yeah, no.
Anyway, besides Alabama, it was a great, great up to the race.
Yeah, no. They. It was a 3-2 situation, if I'm remembering right, and they
Ooh,
both just crashed out early on.
it's pretty unfortunate. You said I would have known that because I didn't watch the race. So color commentary, Eli saved the day again.
Like I said, there was not much particularly remarkable that I noted. Like I will say, it's one of those situations where, like, you have to respect Bastianini because he was so great all weekend, but like he was so great that it kind of ruined the weekend.
I feel like that's the story of Francesco Bagnaia and also the story of every other manufacturing series out there.
Yeah, like
We got MotoGP this weekend. Sorry.
yeah, like this is like when, last year you have Max taking pole and doing a grand slam every other week. It's like it is one of the most incredible things you have ever seen on a technical
It's not fun to
perspective.
watch.
Yeah, but you're just kind of bored. Like the first time it was
Yeah,
cool, but then like the next weekend and then the next week it gets old. And it was
it's
kind of the
fun.
same thing.
It's fun if it's a driver who doesn't usually. You know what? I will say it's fun if it's a driver who doesn't usually do it, which is why I was pretty okay when I saw the results. I'm like, you know what? At least it's not Francesco Bagnaia.
I would probably be more excited if I actually knew who any of these people were. But that's
I'm
kind
so
of the
sorry.
problem we run into in starting a new series.
Yeah, it's those first few months or so that you're really don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what's funny is Eli actually watches MotoGP. I know what goes on, but I've never watched a race live. I only ever watch replays.
Here's the thing, like I've seen enough clips and enough bits of like just genuinely incredible racing that I'm like, I want to watch this.
No,
But
you don't. Not era of Arrow.
well, to be fair, most of those clips were from like 2, 3 years ago.
Yep. I miss the Rossi Marquez fights with the no arrow. Those were the best.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fun when Rossi tried to legit murder Mark Marquez on more than one occasion. Um, well, now it's my turn for talking. So that was kind of like the overview of the race. That's Eli synopsis. Good until the actual race. Um, kind of boring. I'm I'm somewhat okay because it was Bastianini, but Eli, I have a problem with MotoGP. Can we play therapy really quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Listener, pull up a chair. We're gonna do group therapy here because there's something about MotoGP that is turning me on. Not actually, it's not turning me on. It's turning me off, and in the wrongest way possible. It's not about the arrow. There's a lot of discussion about the arrow. There's a lot of group therapy about that. It's not good, but whatever. Arrow won't ruin MotoGP. You know what will ruin MotoGP, Eli?
A lot of things, but I'm not sure what specific thing you're talking about.
Eli, what manufacturer won the race?
Oh, we're gonna talk about this now.
No, no, you're gonna be a good you're
You're
gonna be a
going
good
to
role
talk
player.
about this now.
No, you're going to be a good role playing partner. You're going to answer the questions as I give them to you to make my point more convincing and dramatic. Eli, who won the race? Like, what manufacturer won the race?
I believe the same
Yeah.
manufacturer who won the race before and before.
No, no. Well, that's also a problem. But just say the manufacturer's name. Dang it.
Ducati.
That's good. Yeah, there we go. Who was in second place? What manufacturer was in second place?
I believe it was also a Ducati.
Who was in third place?
I So should I just go ahead and head this off with the fact that if I'm remembering right, the top five were all Ducatis?
Yup. And who usually wins every single race since 2022?
I
Ducati.
was gonna say
Ducati.
TTS, and I believe was Ducati.
It's all been. I think
Motorrad,
it's
I
all
think
been
was Ducati.
there. I don't think there's been a single non-Ducati winner this year because it's all been Jorge Martin, Banaya, Bastianini. There was one random winner, but I also want to say he was a Ducati. Guys, I'm going to go through the entire races this year. I want to say it was Jerez. No, they didn't race at Jerez this year. Was it a Spanish race that a Ducati didn't win? Nope. No,
What does
Francesco Banaya
Aprilia
won it.
Racing?
It was Aprilia.
Aprilia won at Valencia.
Has
I
any
don't
other
know what car
manufacturer
they
won?
drive.
Have any other manufacturer won any other race than Aprilia?
Oh no, I'm an idiot. That wasn't a race. That was the test session.
Mm. Oh! You see now I'm even angrier. This is a good therapy session. Now I'm even angrier,
So, uh,
guys. I
Qatar. Yeah.
there's here's the thing. This isn't a new complaint, and I think this was kind of doomed to happen to MotoGP, and it's happened before in Superbike. It always happens in manufacturer competitions, but never, I feel like, to this extreme. There are four really good Ducati teams. There is one decent KTM team and one decent Aprilia team, and two bad Yamahas and Yamaha and Honda teams. And the Ducati dominance, of course, is boring. It's always boring when people dominate, and other manufacturers don't really get in on the fun, and their fans kind of feel bored and whatnot. I like Ducati, of course. Honestly, you know what, Eli? This is therapy. I'll admit it. Ducati is my second favorite motorcycle manufacturer, right behind Kawasaki. My favorites are Kawasaki, Ducati, and Yamaha. Those are my favorite three. They're a good brand. Ever since Audi bought Ducati, their quality control has been comparable to a Japanese bike. They've been great. Um, but the reason people watch motorsports is for competition, and we've gotten some good competition this year. It's a tight battle between Jorge Martin and Francesco Banaya, but some people like me are also motorcycle enthusiasts, and we're also there just to see the motorcycles. And when there are five manufacturers and only one is doing well, it's a little dull. But when you look back at 23 and 22, and still it's just those two, that same manufacturer doing really well. I don't know. I don't think in MotoGP there's been quite this level of dominance, and if it has, it's been a while. Marc Marquez and Honda was formidable, but even in Marquez's Honda years, there was always a challenge. There was always, either a Jorge, Andrea Dovizioso or Jorge Lorenzo Ducati, or how did Ducati get it? Or there was even a Suzuki with Joan Mir, or lots of Yamaha with Rossi and Lorenzo. Um, there hasn't been this level of dominance where not just the factory team like Marc Marquez or Danny Pedrosa or any of those guys were winning a lot. This is the factory team is winning, and all the secondary consumer teams are also winning with Ducati. That's great, but that's a problem.
Kind of like F1 back when the turbo hybrid era just started, right? It was only
Yeah,
teams running Mercedes engines winning.
exactly. There is a huge benefit to being a Ducati right now, and so I am going to low key kind of end this therapy session, honestly, this MotoGP discussion with listeners. I'm sure you're tired of this, of people complaining about dominance in Ducati. Um, I know it's going to even out eventually. It's tiresome to get there. Um, but Eli Eli had a good idea one time, believe it or not. We were talking about, remember when we were talking about WEC, Eli, and the reason WEC has been so good is because there is a power limit to the cars,
Oh yeah, the
or a
balance of
drag
power
force.
in WEC. Yeah.
Why does I was thinking to myself, how I would love to see, like, I love to watch, and a lot of people love to watch videos like in motorcycling of like which 600 DC is the best motorcycle to buy. Do you want the ZX6R, or the Suzuki Gixxer 600? Why? Uh, I guess MotoGP already does that. They already have the power limit. It's a 1,000 cc. Um, so it's kind of annoying. It's because, like, usually that solution you presented, which usually is awesome, now that has a problem in MotoGP. Now the engine and drag thing isn't working in MotoGP. Eli, we're gonna end this discussion by solving how to fix MotoGP. How do you fix how do you fix when one manufacturer is so dominant but they shouldn't be?
Well, the first thing you do is you eliminate non-structural aero devices.
Okay, we're in agreement there. Okay, listeners, take notes. Eli's cooking. So first step, remove aero devices. Second step,
Next step, you'd need some sort of power limitation. So, like we were talking about with WEC, or Formula E also does this, where they're limited to how much actual power they can put out, but they are free to balance that between horsepower and torque, and affect the acceleration curves and things like that.
okay, so counteract MotoGP already doing the power limitation with that torque slash horsepower counterbalancing effect.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of thing that that's a large part of why cars in WEC are able to have a set power limit, but still have such differences in where they're good. because they will generate their power in different parts of their acceleration curve. Because some will basically the way it is it's a I believe it's kilowatt hour output, not horsepower or torque.
Okay. So that's was that step 2 or 3?
I mean, I
Yeah,
only
that
have
was
two
step 2.
steps. It's just like
Oh, that's
kill
gonna
the
fix it.
arrow. I mean, what that does is makes it shifts it to being more about being clever with your setup than with your building.
Ah,
So like the
guys,
teams would still be rewarded, but and like the more flexible your engine would be, like the more rigid your chassis will be, the better your suspension is. Those things will all still help you, but it would be less dramatic of a difference.
uh, all right, guys. Well, I hope you took quality notes because Chef Eli just got done cooking and all the kitchen staff has left. Everybody but you is here, so why are you still here? Anyway, well,
I have
are
a
you
lot
done
of time to
fixing
think that I'm smart.
So, I don't have anything more to say about MotoGP. I think you fixed it.
Cool. Do you want me to get into my
I
non-coverage of WRC?
Sounds awesome. And I'm gonna preface this with I have no clue and about anything you're gonna say. Nothing personal. I will just say a lot of because I feel about MotoGP the way you feel about World Superbike because I have no clue what's gonna happen.
Here's the thing. I realized something as I was pulling up this stuff for WRC. I might actually be able to get you interested because of who won this specific rally.
Is it? Are you playing the autism card? Is it because he's green?
No, none of the cars are green, unfortunately.
What? I'm not watching.
There is a different aspect that is something you are a distinctive fan of that might get you keeping a bit more of an eye on the rest of the not MotoGP, WRC season.
Is it Ford?
I mean, Ford exists. I haven't been paying close enough attention this year to know how well they're doing. But,
Well, I'm
no,
guessing. Done guessing.
it has a driver. So, basically, short version, I don't have too much to talk about this rally, mostly because it was already half over before I realized it was going on this weekend, or that weekend. But, um, some fun things that happened in WRC is the champion last year decided to go do something else. Last year was his rookie season.
What a way to just completely like peace out.
Well, here's the thing. WRC drivers are not paid exceptionally well. And they also don't get a ton of promotion because a thing that WRC really struggles with is actually trying to get people to care.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So WRC wouldn't do an in-season tournament to get people to watch their sport.
Uh, WRC doesn't even always remember to post on, like, they are only slightly better about posting on their social channels when something's
Than
happening
we are.
than we are. Like this episode I didn't even announce on the Twitter, and I'm guessing you forgot to post it on the Instagram, right? So like they're about the same level as us
That is
at
a good
promoting
sport.
their stuff. Yeah. Um but here's the interesting thing that's happened without him there. There is a bit more of a title fight this year than there was last year. And this is the part that you're going to be interested in.
Did Kevin Harvick come out of retirement to do WRC?
Something comparable.
Wait. So he's one of my favorite drivers.
It was not him, but it's your fan of old men showing up and kicking butt.
Vettel?
No, it's probably not a driver you care about. But his name is Sebastian Ogier.
That sounds like a good old man name.
Yeah, he won 8 WRC championships, including a run of 6 in a row.
Oh yeah, that's a good old man right there.
Yep. From 2013 to 2018, he won every single championship. And he did that with 3 different teams.
Sounds like the king to me.
Yeah, in 6 years, he won 6 championships with 3 teams. And then won his last championship in 2021. The year he retired from full-time competition.
And he came back?
So that's one of the interesting things about rally drivers. Because of how spread out the season is, and how poorly promoted and like all those other problems we talked about is, when rally drivers retire, they don't really retire. They just only show up for their favorite rallies. No, like
so you're saying
like the champion that I was talking about that retired has won 2 rallies this year. They don't stop. They just only show up to their favorites.
Sounds like the best retirement life.
It kind of is. But the reason this one is particularly relevant is because he is an old man, part-time driver. He is currently 2nd in the standings overall.
Wow. Yeah, I'm totally going to watch WRC this year.
Yep. This is a guy who is literally doing this as a part-time hobby at this point.
He's pulling a Raikkonen.
And he is currently 2nd in the championship behind a full-time driver by only 27 points. For reference,
so he could win the championship by doing part-time.
He stands a very good chance of winning the championship part-time.
Yeah, I'm totally going to have to watch WRC this year. Eli could see that I was visibly turned on by this information.
I saw who was the winner, and then I was like looking at the standings. I'm like, wait a second, I know how to get him into this.
Old man, dominant, huh?
Yeah, and that other driver that I was talking about that went to part time.
Yeah,
his name is Callie Rovenpera. Just for reference, he's won 4 of the rallies this year. Which I believe, if I'm remembering right, are all of the ones that he's been to.
Sounds like a natural talent, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, no, like, he is insanely fast. Yeah, like, he's insanely good. He just shows up and wins, and then got bored of that, so he's going off and doing other random crap, but still occasionally showing up and winning.
Sounds like this series is just full of Giga Chads and old man Giga Chads.
I will always argue that the true best drivers in the world are rally drivers.
I don't see why not.
They are the only drivers that drive in the sorts of situations that they do. There's no other drivers that are practiced in dirt, gravel, and tarmac. Yet alone switching between those.
But Kyle Larson isn't. He's the most talented driver in the world, Eli.
We'll get to that in the news section.
Wait, there's news?
Do you not know what he said?
Did he say the N-word again?
No. No, but it did lead to a lot of jokes about that. Just matter of fact and immediate. Like, that wasn't even like you were trying to make a joke. You just assumed that was true.
So much for sensitivity training on that guy.
No, but if someone else was the current reigning F1 world champion, he might have.
Oh,
But anyway,
wait a second. Can we get to that news now?
um,
We
he
are actually we can say for NASCAR. We're going to that really soon.
okay.
I can't wait for this. If it's not the N word, I don't know what it is.
It like it's not bad. It's just stupid.
Sounds sounds legit. And for children listeners out there, the N word is
Nigeria.
Nigeria. He says Nigeria a lot, and it gets a lot of people angry. It's like an inside joke, like you know how me and Eli would. I'll just say dang it, what driver do you hate again? I'll just say, hey Eli, Prime Oscar Piastri sucks. It's kind of like when Kyle Larson says Nigeria. That's what like the common fan reaction is. They're just like, Kyle, would you please stop saying Nigeria? Like it's really like sicking us out.
Anyway, that's all I had to talk about WRC.
Was Kyle Larson almost saying the N word?
It's not that. It's just that if he had made his comments a few years ago when a certain other F1 driver was the champion, he might have used it.
Before the sensitivity training. Guys, it was so funny because like he said that word during COVID during a gaming stream, and like I wasn't in school. I was online like everybody during COVID. And I remember just opening my NASCAR app and like breaking news: Kyle Larson fired from Chip Ganassi after blaring N-word at Bubba Wallace. And I'm just like, LOL. That was the most random piece of NASCAR news I ever saw in my young life.
To be fair, it's somehow seems perfect.
If it's a dirt racer, you know what I mean? I just like to say that word a lot, especially to their non-Nigerian uh, compatriots. Anyway, anything more to say to WRC?
No, just you know, it's
And
one of the only series in the world where someone who is technically retired might win the championship, and it's impressive.
oh, that did you want to give our first time irreverent and first time WRC watcher listeners a quick overview about WRC?
No, because I want to do that when I actually talk about a rally.
Okay.
Because that would be a lot of information overload, only for none of it to be used.
Well, first time listeners, I'm sorry. You're not going to get to learn about WRC. Go Google it. Don't Eli it.
Oh, you'll learn. You'll learn. Just when I have something more to talk about.
You said that like an angry mom, like, oh yeah, you'll learn.
Look, all I'm saying is that the Form 8 rally is coming up later this year, and that one's usually pretty fun.
He likes Form 8 more than Kyle Larson likes Nigeria.
It's the Japan rally. It's the series finale. Anyway.
You want to talk about Kyle Larson to get us into NASCAR?
Sure. He claims that he's a better driver than Max Verstappen.
Guys, I just paused my game and I put my controller down. I didn't hear this.
I'm surprised you didn't hear about this. He said in an interview that he is a better driver than Max Verstappen, and that the only thing that Max could beat him in would be an F1 car, or maybe Indy cars in a road race.
I'm a better driver as long as I'm not driving in the same series as he is.
Well, here's the thing. That means he has the audacity to claim that he'd be better in a sports car.
You know what? If he's gonna like throw hands, do it. Like go, yeah, no. Go in a sports car and beat Max Verstappen, and then I'll want to hear you say it.
That's the thing, is it's like, you have, like, barely tried to race open wheelers, and you did okay.
Average. You did it devastatingly average, in my opinion.
You were where you should have been for the team you were driving for and your experience in racing.
I can just imagine Kyle Larson's thoughts. Like after the IndyCar race, like, yeah, I totally did better than Max Verstappen. Like, I bet if this was Max Verstappen's first time in IndyCar, he'd probably speed on pit road too.
It's just, it was. Now you see why I was joking about how if he'd said this a few years earlier, he might have said Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm a better racer than that Nigerian Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, no, that's the Kyle Larson news.
I only want to talk about this for the rest of the NASCAR segment.
It's like, I don't. This is not me throwing shade on NASCAR drivers, but, like, dude, the only people that you ever race in a top series motorsport is NASCAR drivers. You can't compare yourself to anyone in any other series.
You can't make a legitimate comparison because there is no legitimate results to compare yourself with.
Yeah, like all of his like dirt track racing is cool and all. It does not have the same level of promotion to where people can make true careers out of it.
Yeah, they can't make a living off of it.
Yeah. And so it's like, and he doesn't do sports car racing. He doesn't do endurance racing. He's done an IndyCar race where he made stupid mistakes and wasn't all that impressive. So it's like,
Guys, guys, I like NASCAR a lot. Kyle Larson isn't a better driver than Max Verstappen. I'm sorry, he's just not. Matt, I'm not a Max Verstappen fan. You know what? I'm the perfect devil's advocate, Eli. I'm not a Max Verstappen fan, but
like
I'm
you're a
also a huge
bigger,
NASCAR fan.
yeah, you're a massive
But
NASCAR fan. You do not like Max. And you agree with me that this is just ridiculous.
I'm gonna say this. I think Kyle Larson is good. Kyle Larson also is probably the most overrated driver in our series.
I think stock
And
car racing, he would beat Max.
no, I don't think he would. You know why? He would be like miles ahead of Max and then like speed on. No, he would. Eli, did you watch the Homestead Miami race from last year, or do you know anything about that NASCAR race at all? Homestead Miami 2023.
I remember hearing something about it.
Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah, go ahead.
And do you know what? You want to know why I'm always gonna pick any F1 driver over Kyle Larson?
Oh god, what
So
did he do that time?
Kyle Larson was following Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney was so here's the story was Ryan Blaney was totally going to knock Kyle Larson out of the championship for like, and he did. Spoilers: Ryan Blaney won the title last year, but he did it because Ryan Blaney was going to come onto pit road, and Kyle Larson, his team caught onto it. Cliff Daniels said, "All right, pit this lap, pit this lap." So Ryan Blaney comes onto pit road very fast. Like Ryan Blaney almost does like a perfect entry. Kyle Larson locks up the brakes, barrels into the sand barrels that are on the edge of pit road because he was following Ryan Blaney too fast and he locked the brakes.
Yeah, it's just like, here's the thing. I fully think that he would probably be better in a stock car on ovals than Max. I question it
You
at a
know what?
road course.
I, I, you just can't make a comparison. Like, duh, no, 100% Kyle Larson's going to be Max Verstappen in a stock car because Max Verstappen has never raced in a stock car. 100% Max Verstappen would beat Kyle Larson in a IndyCar Grand Prix or F1 car because Kyle Larson has done neither. He's driven an IndyCar, but not on a road course.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even if he argued that he would be better in IndyCar at an oval than him, I'd be like, you know what? I could see it. But to say that he, like, overall a better driver, like, as much as, like, I do actually like oval racing, but I will say, road course racing does test your skills variety more. Just because
And
there's more variety in what you have to do, because every single track is so drastically different.
road racing tests your skills as a driver. Oval racing tests your skills as a racer.
Yeah. So it's like I could see the argument that he would beat Max in any series on an oval. He would probably be right about that. But also, I don't think it would take long for Max to get close to him.
don't know, man. I've never been a big Kyle Larson fan, and you know that. Not because I hate the guy. It's just because I'm just not. I have the same feelings towards him as I do like Alex Bowman. I'm just never really been a fan. I'm a Ford guy. I don't like that all the Indianapolis hype has gotten to his head. I was hoping it couldn't, but you know what? He's an imperfect man, and that's what happens. Hype gets to his head.
I'm just sitting here thinking of something like, is this his way of trying to get a ride in F1? Because F1 doesn't really work like other series where you could just dip in for a race.
Kind of funny. But
Yeah, so if you were wondering why I mentioned that I had some things that were going to cause discussions in the news segment more than I did actual news.
where did he say this? I legit want to see this news story. Can you send it to me on my phone?
Oh, I'll see if I can't find it.
Anyway, as Eli finds that, I'll fill some space. So, we are officially in our NASCAR segment. I hope you enjoyed the Kyle Larson news. This past week they raced at Richmond Raceway. Uh, and there's a good reason, and it's good we saved this episode. We didn't record for like a week because holy cow! Even if you want to say it's manufactured entertainment, you can. Nonetheless, a lot to talk about. Uh, we'll get into the race first before we get into what happened at the end of the race. The race was another, I feel like, a NASCAR win in terms of just quality because you know I feel like there's been a lot less complaints about the short track package overall, and this both Richmond races this year have definitely provided a lot of excitement, a lot of good passing, and a lot of good racing. Um, Another thing that both Richmond races have provided is amazing tire tests. If you recall, this spring race at Richmond, NASCAR tested its wet weather tire to start the race, and it was a massive success. This race, they tested their option tire, which Eli will be glad to know, and I'll admit they totally just copied any car in F1. NASCAR now has a red lettered soft tire to
Oh,
go
that's
along with
glorious.
their yellow lettered medium tire. So there you go. Um, but yeah, they call it the, is it the option? Yeah, I think they call it the option tire, not the soft tire, not the alternate tire. It's the option tire.
That is what
Um,
F1 used to call them in the mid 2000s, if I'm remembering right.
I feel
Mid
like
to late 2000s.
like rats, like Steve Phelps. Yeah, Steve Phelps was watching like early 2000s um, F1 racing. He's just like, you know what? I think we should call our soft tire the option tire.
Here's the thing. I will always say that F1 has the best naming scheme for their tires, just because you're never going to be confused about which one's which.
Yeah.
Like, and like, it's not really just an F1 thing. It is basically, I'm pretty sure at this point, every European racing series uses the same nomenclature. I don't
Yeah.
know why American series have to come up with fun new names for them.
Uh, no, funny name or not, it was a pretty good for the option tire. It was a good race. A lot of people really applauded the use of it. The teams used it well. A lot of good strategy. I'll give my take on it. Everyone wants my take. Um,
To be
I
fair, if they're
really
listening
will.
for this long, they do.
Oh, Luke, get ready to take notes, bud.
Also, pick
Um,
those packages faster.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Would you? I know you're really interested, but it would be nice if you could work and listen at the same time. But yeah. my opinion, I like the strategy it gives, and I do like. I think it could improve racing. I just don't entirely know how I feel about NASCAR going to multiple tire compounds. I feel like the fun of not the fun of NASCAR, but NASCAR has always been built around trying to build the car around the tire, kind of like make sure the car can race with that compound Goodyear makes. And now the car has kind of been put aside for a second. Goodyear says, let's build a new compound around the car. And I think either way is fine. Uh, I just kind of prefer it when they built the car around the tire because I'm an old curmudgeon who likes the classics.
I do feel like on average, when the tires start adapting to the car, the performance of the cars tend to get better, but you do end up with more situations where races fall into being about tire saving.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like a single compound that Goodyear brings. Because actually, did you know, Eli, that every single racetrack has a different compound tire? No compound is the same.
I did know that because I believe that NASCAR and IndyCar are the only series that do that, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I didn't know it until I was like 15. Like it was a full year into NASCAR before I learned like, oh, they actually bring a different tire to each race. And you know what? I like that. I like that Goodyear has a single compound tire for each race. I just I don't mind so much the workload for Goodyear to bring another compound of softness or hardness. I just think Goodyear should build the tire around the track and car.
Yeah.
So
I think it takes more than one
I
race to see how something like this would play out, though.
yeah, I agree. I'm not going to give anything too hard of a no. It's just I definitely prefer, as of now, I prefer a single compound for built for each race. But you never know. Maybe this will make NASCAR better, and I'm not confident because of what they've done in IndyCar. I feel like IndyCar definitely is a good indicator of how well it will work in NASCAR. I think the different tire compounds are going to work not good on NASCAR road races, but once again, we're just going to have to see. I uh, I am afraid because of IndyCar because I don't think I've watched many good IndyCar road races that entertained me, and I really hope that doesn't happen with this compound with NASCAR. But it's hard
To
to
be
see how it
fair,
would because they're
IndyCar road races problems is often a more of a bit problem with aero wash and the track's not actually being all that great.
true. So yeah, Eli was right as usual. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the tire works other tracks. But as of today, my opinion stands that I'm okay with the tire. It's fine. I just, as of now, prefer having a single compound built for each track. Anyway, so that's what happened this week at Richmond was they did that tire. Getting into more of the meat of the race, we have Christopher Bell winning stage one. Um, Christopher Bell did have problems on pit road. I'm going to check really quick if it was, I want to say it was a speeding penalty. I don't know though if it was a speeding penalty or or just problems on pit road. I call me Ferrari because I'm checking. Uh, oh, hey, how about that? NASCAR calls their soft tire. Or wait, hold on. They call the red tire the option tire, and they call the regular tire the prime tire. That's the exact naming as F1 did.
Hey, that means we
The
don't have the WEC problem where we keep getting it confused.
the regular tire is the prime tire. Oh, okay. So I don't think Christopher Bell had problems on pit road. He just ran really long in pit, and his cycle wasn't good. He got undercut hardcore, apparently. But I do remember Christopher Bell had one of the better cars. Listeners, I actually didn't. What's hilarious is I didn't listen to this race until the very last 10 laps. I chose the best possible time to tune into the race, and that's pretty cool.
I was gonna say, to be fair, most of the interesting stuff was from that, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, not a ton. Good, decent racing, but Daniel Suarez wins one stage two. And I really don't have anything else put on. Some strategies went well, some didn't. No one I feel like really got anything stolen from them except Christopher Bell. His option to run long kind of hurt him there.
Dear listeners,
But
this is why we've been putting off making this episode. We've covered 3 series and we are not even an hour in.
dang. Oh wow, I just realized that. I'm about to end this and end the discussion of the race with what happened at the end, and yeah, we are
We're still under an hour. And that's with the mic test and a little bit of the pre-episode conversation not cut out yet.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I don't think it was a bad thing. We're just kind of. I feel like the average between these 3 series, like, yeah, like this is what happened. These were the results. The race wasn't that great.
The thing is, most weeks what we do is we've got like 6 or 7 different series we keep an eye on, and then we like if the series, even if the series that we planned on covering aren't great, we'll pivot to add in 1 or 2 of the other series that was good. There's just only like 1 or 2 series racing a week right now.
Yeah. Well, listener, have no fear because the final part of the race may actually take half an hour to fully discuss and have some semblance of closure. Because Eli has definite opinions on this. So I will detail the end of the race as Motor Racing Network detailed it. So Austin Dillon, guys, I didn't cover it, but Austin Dillon kind of had the race of his life. Austin Dillon ran top 10 all day. He had an amazing, honestly, closer to top. I think he was almost top 5 almost all race. Like the 3 car came to play, and he had a really, really good car. I don't think anybody was really thinking win except for him until the end when Pit Road Strategies came out. Austin Dillon, I want to say, yeah, he just raced. This wasn't much of a strategy. Definitely some cars ahead of him got hurt from the strategy, like Christopher Bell. But just genuinely, Austin Dillon had a good strategy. He raced hard, and he eventually raced to the lead. And Austin Dillon, with 3 laps to go, was going to win this race. However, he did not. And I'm very frustrated because on this timeline, I can't see what caused the caution. Oh, Ryan Preece got spun out by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Okay, that's what happened. So, guys, oh no, it was 2 laps to go. So 2 laps to go, we have NASCAR overtime. So Austin Dillon is about to get a win for what has to be the actual race of his life. Because listeners, this is his 5th career win, and up to this, Eli, here's how his first 4 wins were achieved. 2017 Coca-Cola 600. It was definitely, he wasn't like good all day. It was very much a late surge, and I want to say it was actually an overtime start that got him the win. I want to say it was overtime. I'll have to double check. I just know Austin was nowhere until the end in the 600. So it was very much a luck-based win in 2017. 2018, he wrecks Eric Almirola to win the Daytona 500. It wasn't a blatant like pit maneuver. It was he bumped him going into turn 3, and that's what sent him spinning. So Austin Dillon wrecked Eric Almirola to get his 2nd career win. 2020 Texas, another one where he wasn't anywhere until late and had a really good pit strategy and won. 2022 Daytona, the entire field wrecked ahead of him because they decided to race on a wet track. NASCAR let them do that. So they raced on a wet track, like 10 cars ahead of him wrecked, and he inherited the lead and won. So you're kind of seeing a trend with Austin Dillon wins. He either wrecks somebody or has a really lucky strategy and wins, or just so happens to be one of the cars that didn't wreck. Today, this race he was actually going to win because he was good. That's pretty awesome. That's actually like just a lot of good racing, a lot of good driving, good car, good team. They were going to do it. The three team put one together from scratch. It was awesome. And then the caution came out. And now, if I'm Austin Dillon in my head, I'm going, okay, I am 32nd points this year. This year has been one of the worst of my career. I probably will not get a chance to win a race after this race. You know, Daytona's coming up, but I can't bank on Daytona. Get it, bank? I can't bank on Daytona. Even though I'm good there, I'm probably not, you just can't do that. A restrictor play track, you can't put all your cards there. So I'm Austin Dillon. In my head, this is it. It's do or die. I have to win this race, no matter the cost. So overtime happens. Austin Dillon decides to pit from the lead, and everybody follows him. Everyone puts option tires on. Unfortunately, oh wait, never mind. It wasn't unfortunate. Austin Dillon maintained the lead off pit road. So Austin Dillon the pit road does it. Joey Logano goes to his outside goes to the outside lane. Denny Hamlin's behind him, and Tyler Reddick. So we get to the race restart. Joey Logano, there's not a lot of contesting. Joey Logano had an amazing restart. Joey Logano gets the lead, and I'm listening to this at this point. I'm very excited. I'm a Ford fan. Ford's about to win yet another race this summer. Number 6 it would have been. Austin Dillon behind him, and then Denny Hamlin starts to come behind. So now, all of a sudden, Austin Dillon went from, okay, I have to win this race. I can't win this race. And Denny Hamlin's behind me, putting the pressure on. So a lap goes by. We're entering into the final lap. Joey Logano in the lead, Austin second, Denny in third. Eli, from what I've explained, if you are Austin Dillon, what are you going to do if this is your only chance to win all year? It's a do or die. What are you going to do?
Well, I mean, as you pointed out, he's got a bit of a history. Well, what I
Yeah,
do is just try to actually do my best. This isn't the
I'm
first time he's
saying
crashed someone out for a win.
yes. Um, I say this because I'm not a fan of what he did. But and if you haven't watched this race, listener, I'm gonna get to the climax in a second. But I just can't blame him for doing it. I can and I can't. Like, it wasn't cool. I don't think I would have done the same thing, but can I? What would I have? I don't know. I'm Austin Dillon. I'm 32nd points. I I am about to win the race of my life, and now it got stolen from me. I'm not going to get this win. I'm not going to potentially get a playoff spot. Potentially, even though we all know he wasn't gonna win a championship. And now I'm not gonna. I'm in second. I'm 2 car lengths behind Joey Logano, or according to the Racing Network, apparently it was 4, but it was 2. That has been kind of dramatized. He was 2 car lengths behind Joey Logano. It was not 4 car lengths. So yeah, I don't blame him for sending it in deep, trying to rattle Joey Logano's cage. I do think there was the option to maybe try to maybe get him a little loose and not completely wreck him out, but that's what happened. He wrecked him out, sent him into the wall, and by doing so, Austin Dillon ran really high up into turn 3, so Denny Hamlin was able to get under him. So I'm Austin Dillon. I just decided to be a deplorable human being to get this win. What's going to stop me from coming back down and wrecking Denny Hamlin? That's what I do. I come down, I wrecked Denny Hamlin. Boom. I just made 2 drivers very angry, and I wrecked both of them out. No remorse.
Uh,
So before I get to the community's reaction, I'm just gonna go like day by day. This is what NASCAR does. So after the race, he's given the trophy. He's given the playoff spot. Yay, we did it! That was an amazing win. You little winner, you. But there's a lot of uproar. A lot of people are like, there needs to be something done about this. This wasn't a fair win, and then there was kind of a lot. I think a lot more people were saying it was foul than fair, but there was a lot of people defending it. Like, no, people do this all the time in NASCAR. This isn't the first time it's happened, and it should probably just go unpunished. And the other kind of half of people were saying, no, this was very like ridiculous. He wrecked not one but two people out. One of them was very on purpose. And believe it or not, not the Joey. Believe it or not, Eli, a lot of people were okay with the Joey Logano wreck. It was the Denny Hamlin one that got them upset when he came back down and cleaned his clock. So there was a lot of people kind of wanting something to be done about this, but a lot of people also saying it's fair. It's what NASCAR was built on. Don't do anything, because if you do something, it also might be considered inconsistent because this has happened before and you really haven't done a ton about it.
I
So a few
hate that
days goes
attitude.
by. What do you say?
I said I absolutely hate that attitude that an inconsistency in rulings means that you're not allowed to start being consistent later.
I agree, Eli. That's a woke statement.
It's like
So
eventually the rules should be applied, and if they haven't been being applied historically, then like they got to start at some point.
that's a good take. Yeah, I agree. So Monday goes by, nothing happens. Tuesday goes by, and I want to say normally when NASCAR gives a ruling on something, it's done Tuesday. So a lot of people, including me, were just kind of like, okay, I guess it's not impossible if they do something, but it doesn't look like NASCAR is going to do anything about it. Austin Dillon's just going to get a win off of wrecking two people. Then Wednesday happens, and then NASCAR does something about it. So this is their listener. If you don't know what happened, so this is what NASCAR did. They said, Austin, you can keep the trophy, you can keep the money, and the win. Which we're not going to give you are the points or the playoff transfer spot. And Eli, you can take it from here as I formulate an opinion.
I that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Not that I'm not saying he shouldn't be penalized. But like it's about the most nonsensical way of penalizing it that I can imagine. Right? Like the way I see it, there's you either have you have kind of two choices for penalties for something like this. Either punish them in some way for something like in some way going forward. So something like a fine or penalties at the next race or something like that. Or you take all of it. Cuz this isn't a win. It says that he's the winner. He has the trophy, but also he doesn't have the points for the race or the position for the race or anything for the race. It's not a win. So it's like, if he's not deserving of all of those other aspects of the win, why does he deserve the money? Why does he deserve the trophy? Why does he deserve the title?
Trying to think. I think that's because NASCAR's always done that. I was telling Eli, and guys, this is crazy, but the last time something like this happened was at Richmond in 2017 when Joey Logano's team was caught cheating. And so they did the same thing. He was awarded the win, everything that came with it, but he didn't get a playoff spot or the points.
Here's the thing, I can almost understand that more because it was the team cheating.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh,
in my view, it makes a bit more sense to let the driver keep the win, but do the things that punish the team more.
okay.
But in this case, it was his decision. So if
Yeah,
anything, it should be the things that punish the driver more than the team.
I can see that. Um, I think it's good because it was just a consistent ruling there. That's nice, but I can understand like it would be make more sense to just give Tyler Reddick the win or give second place whoever raced clean the win. Um, but what do you do? I mean, I'm not terribly upset at the ruling.
It's better than
Uh,
them doing nothing.
yeah, and you know what? That I agree. I think that's my final opinion is it's whatever, but it's better than doing nothing because I'm not a fan of this type of racing. I'm not. I would
Yeah.
rather them do something than that something like this happen again.
Like the only thing that really annoys me about it is that like it's kind of pointless. Like there's no real point to letting him keep that. It doesn't do anything for anyone.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of dumb. It's like I can get it more if it's like, oh, it's what they did before, but it's also like still just kind of a weird thing. But I am glad that they did something that has actual fairly major consequences.
yeah. So that was what happened. So that's it's whatever. I'm glad he's not in the playoffs because we all know he would have gotten out, wouldn't have gone out of the first round.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing is like he would have taken a playoff spot from somebody who is a better driver.
He's in a habit of that throughout his career,
What, just getting
unfortunately.
one shock win and taking a spot from somebody who had a better season?
2022. Literally, Austin Dillon won that Daytona race in 2022 and prevented Ryan Blaney or Martin Truex from getting that spot. Who knows what they would have done? Something more productive, that's for sure.
I'm not gonna start an argument about the playoffs, but I'm just saying.
Oh, you know what I think? I don't think Oscar Piastri would survive in this playoff system. He's such a bad driver.
I mean, to be fair, he probably wouldn't, but that's because he's never drove on an oval before.
Another reason why he's not as good as Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton's never done oval before either.
But
That's
Hamilton's driven in a NASCAR. Same thing.
like the only driver that I can think of that's raced an oval, that done anything on an oval before is like K Mag for some Haas promotion.
You heard it. You heard it from Eli's mouth. Prime K Mag is better than Prime Piastri.
Oh.
Yep, I'm rage baiting him again.
Here's the thing: when it gets that ridiculous, there's not even a reason for me to try and argue. Because I mean, like, of course K Mag's better. Have you seen his hair?
I think I think Austin Dillon is better than Max Verstappen.
Oh, I still can't believe that Larson said something so dumb.
Well, I am mostly done with the NASCAR discussion, but I will leave you guys with a treat. We actually made that discussion like 15 minutes. You're welcome. So
Yep.
these are the standings coming out of Richmond. And you know what? I might do this every weekend up until the playoffs start at Atlanta. We only have 3 races left. It's nice. It's gonna be nice to know who is currently in the playoffs. Um, Max Verstappen Dominator is actually leading, followed by Christopher Bell in second, Denny Hamlin in third, William Byron in fourth, Ryan Blaney fifth, supposed to be Richmond winner in sixth, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott in seventh, Brad Keselowski in eighth, Austin Cindric in ninth, Alex Bowman in 10th. Spun out Richmond winner Joey Logano in 11th, Daniel Suarez 12th, Martin Truex Jr. 13th, Chris Buescher 14th, Ty Gibbs 15th, and Bubba Wallace 23rd. Would you like to guess where Austin Dillon is?
I'm gonna guess last.
He is 31st. That is sixth the last.
So not far off.
Yeah. And looking at the playoffs, Eli's an idiot because no good driver is being left out right now.
I mean, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Wow. I'll just call you cuckoo.
I mean, you wouldn't be the
I
first
can.
person.
Honestly, the only driver I would like to see in the playoffs who isn't is I want to trade Bubba Wallace for Ross Chastain, and then it'll be perfect playoffs. It's not because I'm racist, Eli, because Ross Chastain is a better driver. You know who really doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs is Daniel Suarez.
Is he?
Yeah, he's 12. He's in the playoffs.
Hmm.
Wait, let's see where he is without his win. Okay, Daniel Suarez would have made it into the playoffs without his win at Atlanta too. So you heard it here, folks. He's actually a decent driver. You know what? I noticed as soon as he got that American citizenship certificate, his game upped so hard. It's being an American citizen that's really working for him.
I mean, to be fair, is there much more American than NASCAR?
I don't think there is. The only thing that's more American than NASCAR is claiming you're better than an F1 driver. I mean, that's literally what Ricky Bobby did. Kyle Larson is just Ricky Bobby, but
The amount of jokes after he said that of people like hoping that Max comes over to race in NASCAR and we get a real life Talladega Nights.
yes, that'd be amazing. I didn't
Uh,
think about that. But then Max Verstappen would have to be gay. Then it wouldn't be an authentic story. Kyle Larson does look like Kelly Piquet. We can go on to the news now if you're ready.
all right. So, our last episode we talked a bit about Voodoo, the
What?
conglomerate sport streaming service that is what IndyCar is going to be exclusive to next year in the United States.
I was about to say that explains the hot pokers I was feeling last night.
So, fun fact, that streaming service might not end up existing.
What?
Yeah, it's, I think it's Fubo, is suing them
Fubo.
and, got a preliminary injunction in federal court to temporarily cease any progress on Voodoo actually becoming available because it might violate antitrust laws.
Wow.
Yep.
Voodoo just said it was a better driver than Fubo.
It's an interesting situation because if that doesn't get cleared up before next year, IndyCar is not going to have official streaming in the United States at all.
How else are we going to see Kyle Larson get a speeding penalty?
But yeah, so that's honestly, that's the only real, like, actual news that I have to talk about. The other thing was Kyle Larson saying something stupid, which, yeah, we've already covered. And, an interesting statistical fact. I promised Checo
Whoa.
slander, and I,
Oh,
unfortunately,
no.
I have to say, I cannot provide any Checo slander. Because slander has to be false.
Oh, no.
So, of the drivers for the top 4 teams, you want to take a wild guess of how, at halftime summer break of F1, how many laps each of their drivers have led?
Do you want ballpark? Do you want me to like ballpark these?
Yeah, just ballpark answers for all of them.
Okay. I'll say Man, that's really hard to say who's led. So this is the first 14 races, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's it. Okay, Max Verstappen has totally led the most laps.
Yep.
Okay, I will say Lewis Hamilton has led the second most.
No. I will
Oh
say
man.
everyone after Max is a whole lot closer together.
Okay, so I'm not far off whoever second is. I'll
Yeah,
say
like
Lando North.
yes.
Okay, Lando third.
No,
Lewis
Lando
third?
second.
Yeah,
No.
Lando second. Lewis third?
No.
Lewis isn't even. Dang, it feels like he's led so much.
This is leading
Okay.
full laps. Also, listeners, if you start hearing noises, a random thunderstorm just blew in very suddenly.
Oh, hey, it blew over here like 10 minutes ago.
It just hit instantly, like as you were saying that. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah.
yeah, we were talking about like Kyle Larson. All of a sudden, God was like, boom. Man, I
Lewis
was
has
talking.
actually, of these 8, led the second fewest.
I'm gonna go get some early onset dementia pills because it just feels like he's led the most for some. Maybe it's just I've been hearing so
He's
much.
led a lot of laps in the last couple of races.
Okay, I feel better now. Okay, so Max first, Lando second. Uh hmm. Uh, I feel like Carlos led a lot early, but not a lot late. Recent. You know what? I'll just say Oscar Piastri third.
Nope. You were on the
Carlos.
right track with Carlos, but not quite there.
No, Charles. No, Charles couldn't be third.
Yep.
That does not feel right at all to me. Maybe it's just because he's been on Suicide Watch recently.
I mean, the thing is, a lot of Charles is, if I'm remembering correctly, is from him. It's from pit strategy. From pit strategy. So it's like
All right.
he's not actually leading net. He's just the guy in front of him pit, and he's gonna have to pit eventually too.
Well, I will follow up my Carlos prediction with Carlos in fourth.
Yep.
Yes. And okay, that makes it a bit easier because I do.
The only
What do you
back-to-back
say?
teammates.
Okay. So then George Russell, then Oscar, then Lewis.
Yep.
All right.
Followed
And
by.
I wonder who's last.
Here's the thing. What would you say? What would you think the average gap, excluding Max? I'm just going to spoil it for you now. Max has led 448 laps.
Okay.
A lot more than anyone else. Literally an order of magnitude more than anyone else. Everybody else is in double digits. He's in triple.
Dang.
But the gaps between everyone else is fairly stable. So, excluding the outlier that is Max, what do you think the average gap, between everyone else is?
I'll say if it's singles, 7 to 10 laps.
It's generally closer to around like 15 to 20 lap difference.
Okay.
So what it is Max has led 448, followed by Lando at 95, Charles at 88, Sainz at 68, George at 61, Piastri at 55, Lewis at 30. Guess Checo's.
I don't think I remember Checo leading this year, but I'll say.
No, I'll stop you right
laps.
there. I'll stop you right there. You were absolutely right at first.
Zero?
He has not led a single lap for the season. Max has led more laps than every other driver combined.
You know what that tells me is that's an ideal second driver material right there.
Max has led more laps than everyone else combined. And Checo, in the same car, has not led one.
I have two major takeaways from this information. One is that I understand why Red Bull signed Checo. And I also understand why Kyle Larson's a better driver than Max Verstappen.
I mean, you know what? We could solve this problem right here. Put Kyle Larson in the second Red Bull.
We get the
It's not going to
head-to-head,
be
and we get
worse.
Checo. It literally won't.
Checo has managed to lead 0 laps. It's just like
The sound of your voice, I can hear you like putting your head in your hands from
I
pure dismay.
I used to like Checo,
You don't like
but
him because he's not good?
it's real hard to defend somebody who's saying, "No, I've not lost any of my skill," and he does this.
You know what else is hard to defend? A NASCAR driver who says better than Max Verstappen.
True. Though to be fair, most drivers arguing they're better than Max Verstappen are hard to defend.
You know
Wait,
who
hold
is
on.
better
I
than
just
Max?
realized with the gap that we had, there's something that I don't think we covered, which is
What?
a near equally ridiculous statement. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get any Lando Norris slander into this episode, but I just realized I have some.
Oh boy. Was this what I sent you?
What did you send me?
It was the one where he was talking about Lewis Hamilton, why he's
Yes.
actually bad. Oh.
Yes. Lando Norris had the gall to suggest that he would have. He's doing better than Lewis would in the current car.
Not just better, but Lewis would be struggling.
Yeah.
Now, before you do the slander, Eli, can you read all these quotes in an English accent?
I don't think I can. You can try if you'd like.
I don't want to scar the ears of our listeners.
Nor do
Also, my English accent sucks. Maybe if you asked me to do a Kiwi, I could do it. But give me a Shane Van Gisbergen quote to read, and I'll do it. But not a Lando Norris.
Yeah, he had said that it's not surprising that Lewis was able to match all-time win record or take the all-time win record because he was in a car that should be able to do it.
Obviously, so was Valtteri Bottas.
And then I can't find the other thing that he said, but basically said that had Lewis been in the McLaren, he wouldn't be able to take a win.
Obviously,
I
with bad he did in his career. Obviously, I don't. Yeah, Lando's 100% right.
like. Here's the thing. I am not a massive Lewis Hamilton fan. But
your mom is. But your mom is massive.
Oh, you are so lucky that she doesn't listen to this because she would kill you.
All she had to do is sit on me.
Oh God. I might just clip this part out and send that specifically to her. Anyway, but like up until the current regulations, the man did win a race in every season of his career, including some seasons where he did not have great cars.
And that's why he's better than Max.
Well, I mean, no, the exact same thing can be argued of Max. But it's why he's better than Lando.
Oh.
Because it's like he got a win in a pretty mediocre McLaren. Something that Lando failed at several times. But Lando has the gall to suggest that he's comparable to Hamilton.
Isn't he, though?
They've both drove for McLaren. They're both British. I think that's about where the comparisons end.
Nah, Lando Norris is WDC material, and I don't want to hear any other opinion than that.
I mean, to be fair, in a world without Lewis or Max, yeah, probably. The unfortunate
Uh,
thing for Formula One is they've kind of got these freaks of nature that show up every now and then and have started showing up with increasing frequency.
including Lando Norris.
He's just a freak. There's nothing natural about him.
Uh, what happened was like a lot of young girls decided to like start their own like
They
Cam
believed
and
hard
Noah.
enough.
They're like, we just want this one guy in F1 who looks like this, talks like this, wears a necklace and a watch, and we would. That's all. And the F1 gods spawned Lando Norris.
I'm I'm slowly starting to realize I might just be racist against British people.
Nah, we all need that British bias.
Because, like, the more I think about it, the more I realize that my opinions of the British drivers is generally, like, it's not usually, like, actively negative, but it's more of a just a, you are not interesting, you bore me, and you have no personality. The only exception to this is Alex Albon, but he's got dual citizenship with Thailand.
And he doesn't have an appendix.
True. If anyone's actually
Um,
fact checked the whole no teams ever had both drivers without an appendix thing. Because the only reason that that's a thing that we're taking note of is because both of them had to have theirs taken out over a race weekend. But, like, it's not an unusual thing for people to have removed. So, like, I have to imagine sometime before that, like, it happened, but nobody noticed it.
I yeah, I don't know. But I do know that I agree with the Lando Norris comments, and to all of our young women listeners, which we know we have a ton. I'm so sorry. I agree with Eli that I don't think that was cool to say.
It's like, I get it, you have to be confident in your own skills, but, like, don't say something so blatantly stupid.
About someone who could probably come to McLaren and kick your tan little cheeks.
The thing is, it's like even without being completely vibing with the car, he is Lewis competes with and regularly beats George. And I would say George is comparable skill level to Lando, if not better. That might
Oh
actually
well.
that might be one of my more controversial opinions.
Nah. I think George is on par with Lando.
Yeah, I was talking about the if not better part.
You know what? At least George can maintain his position after a restart
Yeah,
or a race start.
that's kind of where that's coming from. George only bottles the end of races. Lando bottles the beginning and end of them.
Ooh.
It's not slander
Unfortunately,
if
he's
you can
right.
back it up. Truth is an absolute defense against slander.
Sensei Eli said.
I didn't say that. The law does.
The law.
Disclaimer: I am not a lawyer. That is not
Nah,
advice. Don't sue me.
you you can't spell elite lawyer without Eli.
So what I'm hearing here is Levi is willing to take responsibility for his statements. I am not.
Yep. All right. Well, frankly, I'm bored talking about Lando Norris.
You know, at the point that we started questioning appendix statistics, I think we ran out of content.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say about Lando Norris or his tan English butt cheeks.
You're almost as focused on those as that one commentator was about the juicy thick wets.
No, no. Why did you have to? That's it. We're done with the podcast. I'm hosting. I get to say when we're done, and we're done. That's it. That was the last straw.
Meet us back next week on either Saturday or Sunday. We'll probably talk about IndyCar.
Yeah, and Michigan's happening, and next, actually, Eli, it will be Sunday because next Saturday is the nighttime Daytona race, and I really want to watch it.
Then we will probably also end up talking about that too.
Oh wow, guys, we're gonna cover two NASCAR races and two
Or we'll also
IndyCar
be.
races.
I was gonna say we'll be covering two IndyCar races too. So
Wait, F1 doesn't. No, F1 doesn't race till end of this month, right?
I was gonna say it's the week after, if I remember right.
Awesome. All right, then we should be able to squeeze all of it in.
Yep.
Well, that's all I have to say. As long as my compatriot, who I so desperately missed recording with, is done. Also, I'm done as well.
Oh,
Has has this been irreverent?
kinda.
It has.
It's irreverent, right?
Bye.
Uh,